Well, good evening, Erin Perry.
Yes.
Um, Welcome to Kente Arts video presentations of things past, present, and future. And today, uh, I invite you here to speak or to query your mind, sort of, about the few things that I know about you.
Yes.
Um, I think I first experienced you as a photographer and a mother, and other things have evolved. So you can tell us something about yourself.
Okay, so I am Erin Perry, and I am a mother and photographer, amongst other things.
Mm-hmm.
Included in that, I'm also the executive director of the Legacy Arts Project. And within that position, we work to bring, similar to Kente Arts Alliance, African arts to Pittsburgh,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing a lot of exposure to the depths and variety of African arts and just the power and the spirit that those arts bring into the lives of not only the people who witness it, but also into the lives of people who participate. So in that regard, as the director, I also am a dancer. So I
Mhm.
participate in the expressions of West African dance.
Very good. So just this morning, I was in McKees Rock at the Father Ryan Center, and I was going across the street actually, but I just stopped in there to say hey and leave some flyers for our next event. And the young lady at the desk, she was very excited seeing the flyer and expressed the knowledge that she just started taking African dance classes, and that it has made her feel so empowered. And I wonder if you could tell us something about that experience.
Well, I would like to just even speak on my experience with African dance from the origins of it,
Mm-hmm.
but starting with the linkage that I have with the Legacy Arts Project. So I began dancing with the Legacy Arts Project in roughly 2005 under the direction of Linda Imani Barrett, who
Mhm.
is also the founder of the Legacy Arts Project.
Right.
So with her, under her tutelage as an instructor, I began to really just evolve as a dancer. Prior to that time, I had danced with another group called the Pittsburgh Dance Ensemble, which is interesting because it is actually linked to Sister Imani in the way that her predecessor to the Legacy Arts was the Pittsburgh Black Theater Dance Ensemble. So the Pittsburgh Dance Ensemble was somewhat of a spinoff from the Pittsburgh Black Theater Dance Ensemble.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of linkages.
Is there a Bob Johnson?
Bob Johnson was the founder of the Pittsburgh Black Theater Dance Ensemble
Okay.
at the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So you'll recognize that even in the art scene in Pittsburgh, especially in the dance scene of Pittsburgh, there's so many connections. So
Mhm.
people are related to each other in the fact that many people were connected to Shona Sharif
Mm-hmm.
and the dance that she did in the late 70s and the early 80s into the time of her passing. And so even at this point, her son continues with the Shona Sharif Ensemble at the University of Pittsburgh. But back to how I began dancing, I had always just been athletic. You know, from an early age, I did gymnastics. And after gymnastics, I ran track. And then after track, I just stayed fit, going to the gym. But working out was kind of boring to me if it's not really engaged in with doing it with other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I found an opportunity to dance, and I went to a class, my first African dance class, and I was just totally amazed
Yeah.
from the beginning. I was totally just blown away with live music, with drumming,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So as soon as I felt the drum, not even heard it, as soon as I felt it, it called a part in me. It just called me to, I recognized that I was related to it. Now,
Genetic memory.
yes, I definitely had a genetic memory, but layered on top of the genetic memory was all those years of kind of inhibition. So
Mhm.
although I felt it on the inside, I was shy to really
Mhm.
express it
Mhm.
outwardly. So it was years that I kind of struggled with dancing, but not being able to fully express it because of being inhibited and a bit shy.
Mhm.
But when I met with Sister Imani with the Legacy Arts Project, she just danced with such a power and a grace that it called me to recognize that within myself.
No.
So the way that she would move across the floor, so dignified and just sure of herself, made me do the same thing. And so from that time, I began to feel a sense of empowerment in my expression.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to dancing with her, I had danced with men as instructors. And I do have to admit that there's a difference between having a male instructor and having a female instructor. And not that one is better than the other, but they just sort of, from my experiences, it was enabled me to tap into different parts of myself. So my initial experience with a male instructor gave me a different sense of myself before I came into dancing with Sister Imani, which gave me another empowered sense in myself as not only a dancer, but also as a woman. She was able to bring that forward through walking across the floor and moving to the drum. We were also dancing to a rhythm called Yangvalu, which is a Haitian rhythm. And although a lot of the movements that we did sort of originated from this very traditional and ritualistic dance, we didn't necessarily have the whole history behind it. But even within the context that we were able to do it, I felt a sense of empowerment as a woman coming into my own sense of self.